Alright, everybody, here we are, and let's just simply start working on the project again. And the last time we had this, probably we need to go with some another way. This doesn't work directly, so we'll have to do something regarding this. Okay, usually we have these things. We have over main menu ref, and then we have over some menu ref, right? And coming back to this, let's get rid of this one and let's try writing the logic. So what actually happens that whenever I enter the main menu, so that becomes true, and whenever I enter the sub menu, that becomes true, and when I leave, that becomes false, and when I leave, this becomes false. But that's not it, because the main logic is applied somewhere else. Set active item. So whenever I enter that's actually used in here. So whenever I enter a particular option, menu option, so what actually happens, it just simply saves the current target and the sets the active item, and hence I just simply get the item in there, because if the item is not really set, we are not gonna get that. So as of right now, this is how the things are actually going on. The only thing is that this is what could be the way here? Set active item and item dot sum menu that exists. We are just simply setting the item over there, and just after that, when it comes to this one, so we are just simply rendering all the sub menus there. Okay, I'm just simply gonna ask the I write the code. It's been too much working on the same thing over and over, and I'm not sure whether I will exactly see. I tried taking the help of AI as well earlier, but we couldn't really write a logic that is well compatible, and hence $2 I have here like as credits. UI component creation. Make the sub menu make the sub menu functional so that when I hover outside the menu, it disappears, but when I move from main to sub menu, it stays there. So I actually got the reference, the overall I just created this feature only and then integrated in our main project, and let's try working on this one. Hopefully it will just give us code that is actually well written, and then we will see how we can actually integrate that. But before that, let's just simply wait for a while and see if it is what it is actually gonna make. Alrighty, this seems to be done. So coming back to this, yeah, so that's what we wanted actually, the same functionality, but I'm not sure how it implemented this. So this is something we'll have to figure out, and overall things are fine. So let's download the code from here, or we don't even need to download the code, we can somewhere in where there's good network connectivity, but anyway, we'll see. So that's been downloaded, so let's just simply open it. So let's check the code exactly how that's written to just implement this functionality, and once understood we'll implement the same in our case as well. Okay, we have this context menu. First of all, there are many errors here, let's not worry about them. The interesting thing is that how it's actually managing it. On close, that is fine. Open menu, sub menu, adjusted main position. So hovered item, set hovered item, sub menu ref, main menu ref, and close timeout ref. Let's see how it works. This use effect is used for closing it, that is great, no problem as such. Handle mouse enter is just handled like this, so we'll have to have a look at this as to how it's handled. But even this is not the main problematic thing, because overall it is the way we've written, so let's not worry about this. When the mouse leave actually happens, so what we do, we set hovered item to null. So we have a few things here. 150 millisecond delay to allow moving to sub menu, so some delay is gonna be added. Handle main, handle sub menu enter. So ultimately what will happen here, that items are gonna be passed. This is gonna be for the divider, and we'll have handle mouse leave and handle mouse enter for each shape or for each option. And when it comes to handle leave, what we are doing, set timeout to close the sub menu when leaving the item. So close time out ref dot current set timeout. So ultimately a set timeout of 150 millisecond to delay allow moving to sub menu, that is okay. And set open sub menu to null. Set open sub menu, that is fine. So this is implemented after 150 milliseconds, and this is the adjusted x and y, so this is also fine. We have main menu ref, so handle mouse enter. So when we enter at that time, what we actually do, that is clear any pending timeout. So close dot this whenever we enter. So first of all, when we leave we get it, and then we just simply clear the timeout and close timeout current, that's gonna be sort of null. Set forward item, that's gonna be item dot label, and item some menu, it sort of does the job. Then we have handle sub menu enter. So we have a few things over here. We have sub menu enter and sub menu leave. So when it comes to sub menu, first of all it appears only in this case, and apart from this particular thing we have handle sub menu enter. So whenever we enter, at that time we check clear timeout when entering the sub menu to keep it open. So close this clear timeout. So timeout is gonna be clear. Close timeout ref null. Trying to understand the overall flow. Handle mouse leave. So on leave set opens a menu to null. That is great, it becomes null. In this particular case, close time out ref, that just simply becomes null again if that exists. So handle sub menu enter, as soon as we enter, so close timeout ref, it becomes this. And if clear any pending close timeouts, if there are extra timeouts, they are gonna be cleared. And lastly we have said word item, so item label, and style is gonna be left will be this much and top will be this much. So menu position dot this, menu dot finds some menu position. So whenever we enter this, just simply get set. So whenever we enter, then what is actually happening here, that is we are clearing if there are any pending ones. Forward item, so where is this actually being used? So handle main menu leave forward, we are just simply setting it in there, and it turns out it's being used in this one. So if forward item dot label, that will have some different color altogether. Okay, that's gonna be the forward one, not really big problem. This is mainly used for styling. So forward item is just for the styling, right? So wherever it is used, yeah, that's just for the styling. And then we have some menu ref, that's used for closing, and yeah, that's just used for closing it when clicked outside. Similarly we have main menu ref, this is used for closing, as well as adjust the main menu position to keep it on screen, to just simply get the set adjusted position. Okay, so these are the uses of these. And lastly, what is actually happening, that when I move from set forward item, and even things are just simply done. So this is the first thing. And close time ref is gonna be, after some time it's gonna be closed as well. Tell me the flow here. This component follows a fairly standard state event render flow. Here's how it works. Component bound. Suppose you click right at this. So initially the state is open menu, open sub menu, that becomes null. Sub menu position x0, adjusted position is gonna be this, and forward is item is gonna be null. The main menu renders immediately. The first use effect runs after React paints the menu. This particular use effect runs. It measures the, and now it knows the width, height, and all these things. If the menu would overflow the screen, then it is just simply calculating that. it changes adjusted main menu to this. Second use if it installs that to detect the outside clicks, nothing visual happens. User hovers an item, suppose the mouse enters, copy paste as then handle mouse enter this. First clear timeouts, cancels any pending submenus close, and then set hovered item to level which highlights the row. Does the item have a submenu for normal items? Copy. Does the item have a submenu for normal items? Suppose copy, it stops here for copy and it continues. So if item has the submenu, it continues, otherwise it just simply stops. Okay, that's fine. Measure hovered row, it measures this, that is suppose this. Now it knows exactly where that row sits on the screen. Component submenu position, it calculates that, then it checks some menu plus width, if yes then this. Okay, that's fine. Then it checks bottom overflow if needed, some menu y shifted upwards finally. And the react renders again, open some menu is not equals to null, so open some menu, renders the sub menu appears. Moving from menu to sub menu, when leaving the menu item, handle mouse leave, doesn't immediately close, set timeout, it starts at 150 millisecond timer. So the main gap and the sub menu has a grace period. Mouse enters the sub menu before the timer expires. Handle sub menu enter clear timeout, so the sub menu stays open. We just simply clear with this, the sub menu would disappear while your mouse is traveling between the menus. Mouse leaves the sub menu, now handle leaves it, so set open sub menu to null, react renders again, sub menu disappears. Clicking on an item, copy SVG, which closes the entire context. Component mounts, render main, measure this, adjust position, hover the menu item, highlight the row. Has a sub menu, if no then okay, if it yes it has, measure the text, compute the menu position, open label, render sub menu, mouse leaves, start whenever the mouse leaves 150 millisecond. This gap, enter sub menu, yes no, clear item, clear timer, stay open, click this. One improvement I suggest, instead of storing this, storing this is fine. Alrighty, not a bad thing at all. We have quite done a good I mean there's some good stuff that can actually be helpful for our website. So let's try implementing this. So what all do we need to have here? Handle mouse lead, we already have the hovered rectangle ref, exactly the one which I hovered upon. So we have active item, we have sub menu position, open sub menu, even sub menu position, adjusted position for what? That adjusted position actually comes from there directly, so no need to worry about that. And this is fine. The interesting thing is this, I still wanna understand the overall flow. We have over menu, ultimately sub menu ref and main menu ref. So main menu ref, let's just simply copy this part from here. So once written, I'll understand the code, the flow overall. So we have the sub menu, we have the main menu, we have the close timer ref. So what is actually happening, that when we move from some main menu to the sub menu, so at that time there is a delay, so it doesn't disappear, and even later it doesn't disappear, because of course we are over something. We'll see exactly how it goes. And just after that, whenever the mouse actually enters, so whenever the mouse enters, what we are actually doing, that is clear any pending close time out, if there are. So we are just simply gonna be clearing them. So if close timeout ref dot current, if it actually has the value, that simply means there are previous timeouts that need to be just simply cleared. So clear a timeout and close timeout ref dot current, and once that is cleared, so close timeout ref dot current, and that's actually gonna be null. And lastly, we can just simply set it in here, so we don't even worry about the active one or the hovered one. Probably we'll just simply apply the hovered state over there. So as of right now, whenever the mouse enters, we are doing this. Not only that, we are calculating this, and again for this thing we have it sort of like this. So in this particular section I'm just gonna do this much only. So whenever the mouse enters, crazily I don't even need the event, so this is how it's just simply gonna go on. And apart from this particular thing, whenever the mouse leaves, so this is the first thing, one of the first things that I've done, and then I must have layout somewhere. So whenever this changes, hover direct ref, I think I need this, otherwise how will I calculate? Yeah, that's right. So this hover direct ref, it definitely needs to be there, because when we enter, we got the rect, and as we actually got that particular rect, so event dot the boundings for that particular rect, so those values, they actually need to be used in the next render. Const forward rect ref use ref, this is actually gonna be DOM rect. DOM rect, or it can be null. What was that? Okay, never mind. It can be DOM rect, it can be null, and by default I'm gonna be setting it to null. So this is how it's gonna be going on. And coming back to this, we need we could go with this way as well, but in that case I will not have the sub menu, so I have to calculate the width and height of the sub menu. But if I want to have it directly, so we'll have to use layout effect, so that it runs before the printing but after the DOM is ready. So that is why we'll have to do that. And when it comes to that, so whenever that actually runs, we need to have the hover direct ref at that time, and hence we are just simply saving it in here. Coming back to this thing, we have handle mouse enter, we have hover direct ref as well, so it will simply contains the bounding client rectangle of the current target, and once this is done we can call it here. And apart from this particular thing, we have this use layout that just simply, first of all, if cut, or if I don't have this, I'm gonna be just simply returning from here. If I don't have the sum menu array for this, and item rect is gonna be this, okay, padding is gonna be sort of this one. This is the padding, interesting. So once we have the padding, and we are gonna be flipping horizontally and ultimately setting the sum menu position at the end. Setting the sum menu position, that is great, that needs to be done. And whenever the active item changes, this is actually gonna be triggered. So what actually happens here, that whenever mouse enters, we just simply set the active item, and hence this particular layout gets triggered. And once this actually gets triggered, we just simply continue from here on. And this mainly runs after the DOM is ready, and it hasn't painted the it hasn't painted the web screen. Apart from this particular thing, this doesn't really need to be done in here. So this is sort of done, and the interesting thing actually starts from here. So we have this mouse leaf and all. Let's not worry about them. Let's not even worry about these as of right now. When it comes to main menu, so we don't directly assign anything in the main menu, but in the sub menu. So let's just simply get rid of this, whatever we've been doing earlier. Handle sub menu leave. It's actually gonna be sort of like this. Remaining things are fine, the style is gonna be there, and we'll have to create these two functions in here. So const handle sub menu enter, this is gonna be sort of like this. We'll see exactly how the flow looks like. Handle leave, so sub menu leave, and this is how it's gonna be going on. And not only that, we are gonna be having this on mouse enter. This particular part runs, it calculates just. So inside render items, I'm actually gonna keep it in here. So what is actually happening over here, that we have on mouse enter for a menu, for any item for that sake. So we either enter any item or we just leave. So we are gonna have this as well over there. So when it comes to this, so this is it. And coming to this one, we even have handle mouse leave. That is interesting. So as we leave, so handle mouse leave, wherever that is. So as we leave, so we are gonna make sure that whenever we are leaving, there should be some delay. So set timeout to close the sub menu when leaving the menu item, and that can be any menu item, sub menu or the main menu. And we are just simply gonna be closing it. So close time ref dot current, that's gonna be set time out, and that is it, 150 millisecond as mentioned there. And interesting thing is gonna happen over here. Set this is not gonna be set open menu, set active item, and that's gonna be, in that case we actually need to set it to null, right, because we are just simply moving. So ultimately what will happen, as I'm moving from one menu item to another, so when we enter, so of course this is gonna be running, but as we are leaving, so that particular set active item will be set to null after 150 milliseconds. By that time I will have entered the another set timeout, another item, and this particular thing is gonna run again. So we'll have the values of the new one. So it's like, as we enter, so we get the values, as we leave, we leave the values as well, then we enter the next one, so we get the values, we leave the values. So this is how it just simply goes on. And 150 millisecond delay to allow moving to sub menu, sort of like this. So this part is done. Now even in sub menu we have these two functions. So when it comes to this, so when we leave, so we have to stop everything. So let's even check this thing out. Handle main menu leave, handle mouse leave, that is enough. Handle mouse enter and handle mouse leave we have over here. The interesting thing is this, that is handle sub menu enter and handle sub menu leave. So when we are entering, so we are just simply setting it everything to null. So when it comes to sub menu, everything is already set, so you don't really need to set anything as such. So clear timeout when entering sub menu to keep it open. If close timeout ref dot current, if that exists, then we are gonna be just simply setting it to null. And clear timeout close timeout ref dot current and close timeout ref dot current, that's actually gonna be set to null over here. So what is actually happening over here, as we move from one menu option to another menu option, so when we move, so we just simply set the values, that's the main menu option I'm talking about. And when we leave, we just simply set it to null. Now coming back to the sub menu option, so when we leave, when we enter first sub menu options, so at that time we don't really need to set any active state because we already know which one that is. So we just simply need to set everything to null, and whenever we are leaving, at that time just simply set it to set I'll try to go through it tomorrow as well. This is a good interesting component. Anyway, set active item, that's actually gonna be null. And when it comes to this, so we have mouse enter for the main menus, and we have the same for the sub menus as well. And once this is done, it should ideally be working. So let's check this thing out, or code here. So what is happening here, we drew this, we can hover over this. It doesn't seem to be working. Let me see if I'm doing something wrong here. So on handle submenu enter, we are doing this. Submenu, if active item is there, so it's not gonna be undefined hidden, otherwise it's gonna be hidden, that's fine. If active item is not there, let's make it like this. If not active item, then it's gonna be hidden. If there is active item, it's gonna be undefined, so visibility is actually gonna be undefined. So that is sort of fine. What am I missing right now? Overall we've implemented everything. XY, that is okay, we are directly getting from there. When it comes to this, we are setting the menu position. What is this still missing? Let me see if there's something can be done. Handle some menu leave, we are doing this. Clearing the timeout, and this is also fine. Whenever some menu is entered, this is not even needed. Handle mouse leave. In what we have delay of 150 millisecond. Set timeout and delay of 150 milliseconds. So why doesn't it work? So If we actually have more delay than that, then what will happen? So whenever the mouse enters, actually leaves, we have 150-second timeout. So if I actually make it 1500, it just simply goes handle mouse leave. CLG leaving. I'm not sure if it is actually getting called. Leaving. So what is the issue? Close timeout, ref set timeout, and it's gonna be just simply CLG set. It turns out that's never getting called. Why is that? So we've written it sort of the same way. Set forward item, that's gonna be null. That is fine. This is not getting called, so this set time is not getting called. Okay. Reload the page. Oh, it's taking time to compile this stuff, so probably the previous code was running if I'm not wrong. That's something yet to be checked, so let's just simply wait for a while. Alrighty, here we are. It still doesn't seem to be working, doesn't matter how fast I do it. And the most important thing is that this set timeout is not quite running. Why is that so? Usually it's sort of the same. It will still behaving the same way. That simply means the logic that I wrote earlier, that was let me see what am I missing. Gonna be giving it to this directly. We actually have quite a lot of things that are not being used. What is the thing that I'm missing? Okay, I hope this is gonna be the last query to the what am I missing. Here are the main. Active main is doing two jobs right now. Active main means which is a menu to render and whether the same menu is open. Those are related but not quite the same. For example, if you are moving from copy paste to a line, React briefly destroys one sub menu and creates another. I stored something like sub menu. Now the sub menu state contains everything needed to render. forward reactor if and active belongs together into separate state. Those two values. I am sort of getting this. Your time is attached to every door. Uh, mm, there are no submenus. So what I'll actually have to do probably, that is say forward item, that is fine, we can have it there. We'll have one more over here. So we have some menu, and apart from this particular thing I have open some menu. So const open some menu, that can be that as well as this. Or I can do one thing at this level over here. I can actually get item, active item, right? So instead of just simply getting the active item, we have what do we have? This way I'll go ahead. So menu items, we have menu items dot find item if item dot label that's equals to active item dot label. If that is true, in that case I have to get the sub menu from there. Otherwise this is how it's gonna be going on. Going ahead this time, I should not be losing the state. Still doing that. Open some menu, render this. Whenever we actually leave some menu, so we leave it like this. And apart from this thing in here, we are not really having anything here as such. So at the end we are gonna have selection menu ref, and we'll have some menu ref that can even be called main, and in that case so this part is never running for some reason. The problem is that why is this part not running? Nothing as such. So up, suppose I have 3000 milliseconds. So if I actually have these many, in that case I'm not able to get rid of that. So what is something that I'm missing? I'm not sure this will be able to explain the code, but let's give it a try. Can you explain what the problem is? 364 lines of code is just simply being pasted. Hopefully it's not gonna write. Okay, that's great. The close timeout is 3 seconds instead of 150 line. The component is says you were aware, that's why too long should be 150 words. Missing cleanup when clicking menu items. When click an item, it only calls item, but it doesn't call that entire condition. Okay, that's fine. No main leave handler. When you mouse leaves the entire mouse area, both main plus some menu. The menu doesn't pause properly close. Active item store full object reference. You are storing the entire menu item object, which can cause the reference comparison issues. Should just store the label like I did in my original code. No click outside and for some menu. If the user clicks outside the overlay closes the same menu, state might persist. Need proper cleanup, quick fix. Would you like me to fix the issues? Do that and view the code. And what if I use active item to get the sub menu? Which one is a better way? Let me break it down. Store full menu item object. Reference comparison issues. Each render might create new object breaking. Okay, that's great. Just store the label and calculated there. Close reference is smaller cleaner type safe. Cons need to search array negligibly for small conditional recommendations or use option to label string. Use option 2. The search cost is negligible since the menus have few items, typically 5 to 20, and you get much cleaner, more reliable code. This is the standard. Okay, using the refactored code. That is it. Let's just simply go ahead. This AI is pretty powerful. It sort of does everything. Ultimately it can get your all code and just simply handles that. It is just simply creating a context menu.tsx. So ultimately we are gonna be getting the code from here. Interesting. So let's go to the components and the context menu. We'll just simply copy it all, and once this is actually copied, I'm just simply gonna paste in here. That's bad. Well, not really. don't make changes in the code, just refactor it and give me right here. Never expected that this could be used like this. Usually we use this v0 and all, they are actually used for creating some websites and all, but now it's actually being used as a helper, and hopefully it has formatted it better. Let me see. Oh, finally. So what was I missing earlier? I'm not sure. So let me see what it changed. Key improvements: change the active item from storing full menu objects to open some menu. Storing just the label string eliminates references issues and unnecessary renders. Added hover item instead to track which item is currently hovered for proper visual feedback. That is okay. Fix the timeout from, okay, that's for smooth. Extracted get some menu position helper function to cleaner position calculation logic. Simplified divider check to just divider. Added a close context menu when clicking menu items to properly close the menu. Cleaned up hover state styling with a clearer conditional logic. Optimize use layout to depend only on open sub menu instead of the entire object. So let's have a look at this. Overall it should be sort of the same. So let's just simply collapse this. We have the padding over here, we have some menu here, we are just simply get position. This is just simply used for calculating. So we are passing the rect. Once we are actually passing the rect, we'll get the sub menu ref directly, and we'll just simply return x and y from here. That is fine. And handle mouse enter, we just simply clear everything, set hovered item, and lastly we set this set open sub menu, and this one as well. And as soon as this is set, so this renderer gets layout gets triggered. So hovered this, then position is gonna be this, and that position is just gonna be saved in here. So that's not really bad thing at all. And then we have handle mouse leave. So set hovered item to null. Set this is gonna be time out as well, and then clear timeout when entering the sub menu to keep it open. So the timeout is actually gonna be clear, and interesting. So overall the code is sort of the same only. So what was I missing earlier? What was I missing? We have this handle mouse leave action close context menu. This only happens on click. So whenever we click on any, that is also fine. Visibility hidden, that is fine. This is good, I mean actually great, but what was wrong? Use string labels instead of objects in objects management. This is the previous one, right? Not really. Active item state, this is the previous one. So let me copy it. Git state, just a sec. I'm gonna save it first of all, and then I'm gonna work on some other things. Git add everything. And now I'd like to refactor the previous code, because I'm not getting the real vision exactly why it was not working when most of the things are sort of the same. So what could be the reason behind this? First of all, this 150 millisecond we can easily set it to that. Not really a that big problem. C apps/web. No. It disappears. Why it disappears? Let me know the region first of all. Everything is fine. Why sub menu disappears when I move? Gap between menu and sub menu. What? Using object references instead of string. So I found the issue. There are two problems in your code. Problem one, using the object reference instead of a string, your active stores the entire menu object. So since menu items is recreated on every render, the object reference comparison fails. The sub menu can't find the item to render. What? The object reference comparison fails. Object reference comparison fails. So when it is trying to do comparison, then item or null. So menu items dot find item dot label is gonna be active item dot label. This comparison actually fails. Since menu items is recreated on every render, the object reference comparison fails. The sub menu can't find the item to render. Gap between menu and sub menu. When you move your mouse from the main menu to the sub menu, there's likely a small gap. Your mouse leaves the main menu, item triggered, handle mouse leave timeout, and before the sub menu monitor fires this. So okay, is it not able to find the values? Let me see. So over here we have it. And I'd like to check this. Before even that, CLG active item label. Label and item not label. Both are gonna be here. Ah, the first one is undefined. For what? Active item label is actually undefined. Why is that so? That is okay. Copy paste as this. Copy paste at copy paste. We get it here. Then it becomes undefined. Why does the value of it becomes undefined when we move outside? So whenever mouse actually leaves from the item itself, so it is actually set to null. Handle some menu leave. Still not getting. And why is the console log is not running? Is being cleared before it runs. Here's why. When you hover from the menu item towards the sub menu, handle mouse leave triggers the 150 millisecond timeout. But before the timeout fires, your mouse enters the sub menu, and handle sub menu enter immediately clears the timeout with the clear timeout. The result callback never executes, so never runs. Problem 2. Sub menu disappears when moving. The sub menu is closing because there's likely a gap between the sub menu item and sub menu. When your mouse passes through that gap, you left the mouse triggers. You haven't reached the sub menu yet, hasn't triggered. Handle sub menu enter, the timeout fires. Create a hover bridge and an invisible zone that prevents the sub menu from closing while moving between this. So on mouse leave, only set timeout if the item has a sub menu. So if item doesn't have a sub menu, so set timeout is not gonna be there. That is right. And handle sub menu enter, on mouse leave, handle mouse leave, that is this one. Set timeout if the item has a sub menu, so whenever the mouse actually leaves. It's not gonna make much difference if I'm not wrong. So whenever the mouse actually leaves, so I'm actually gonna get the item from here. Let's keep it any type for now. and whenever mouse leave is actually called, I'm actually gonna pass the item as expected. So the value of that actually becomes undefined for some reason. Because as soon as we move and it doesn't really matter, it just disappears, so that's not a problem as well. Until unless I know the exact reason, what is the use of even moving? What's causing this to happen? It doesn't really matter here. So whenever I enter this, let me even see whether I'm entering this sub menu. Sub menu entered. Oh yeah, we are definitely entering the sub menu. That is good. Once we actually enter the sub menu, what we are doing? Once enter the sub menu, we are clearing the timeout, setting it to null. Clearing the timeout, interesting. So right now set is actually being called. This timeout is some menu entered, and after some time that set is actually called and it is set back to null. Active. But not only that, we have to check that whenever the mouse is entered, so some menu entered, then mouse is entered and then set. So that is why it's just simply getting called, and when the mouse is actually entered, we are just simply clearing the timeout. That is fine. Setting it to null, that is also fine, but at the end of the day we are getting the item. So let me even see whether we have the item here or not. We definitely have the item over here. As we have the item, we set the value, so item should have the sub menu as well. Label copy hpng, the item doesn't have the sub menu, hence that disappears. So what, as soon as I enter that, this is all about the state. We are setting it to null. This is getting called. fix it. Set active menu item. Interesting on mouse leave. So menu item set this on mouse leave. Let me just simply have it here. I want to fix this using this only. Enter mouse enter. That is the menu enter. Handle some menu leave. It does not work the way I want it. Just use active item and fix the code and give me right here. Congratulations, we are gone. We don't have any credits now anymore. Anyway, that's not really a big problem. So what can we do right now? I'm still not getting the main agenda. This part, the piece of code actually works fine. When it works actually fine, so at that time I'm actually using set hovered item. So whenever the mouse actually enters, so at that time I'm setting two things over, mainly this particular part over here. Set a some menu is actually just simply set. Whenever it leaves, I just simply set it to null, and this is how it just simply goes on. Instead of using this, I'm gonna use open menu, right? I think that was the one. Let's see what there is. So there is open sub menu, we have to use that. Okay, that's fine. So set open and this is insane. It is actually gonna save the label, right? Okay, so once the label is actually saved, it still disappears. No, 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 no. How do we check the differences? Difference in the previous comment, right? Now only when we just simply make the changes, then only it can be possible. So let's do one thing. I'm gonna copy it and right now git restore this. I'm gonna have so what the hell? Test dot cases. Here we are. Now let's keep it here on this side, and context is gonna be here, and let's see how it's gonna be going on. Luckily it's fine. And what are we gonna doing right now? That is this is the, well, both are the same, aren't they? This is using forward items. So what I actually have to do, that is come on. Okay, now let's see what all changes we can actually make in here. So the very first thing is that we are gonna be using open sum menu. We are already doing that. I'm gonna sort of do the same thing in here. Forward react ref is already there. Sum menu ref main dash close is already there. Coming back to this one on mouse enter, because this one is in working state. So let me just simply close current, clear timeout. This is already fine. Forward and this one set open, that is okay. Then on mouse leave 150 millisecond. Why they look familiar? Now this is the one that I actually need. So first of all, let's keep it in here. So we actually have open sum menu, that's gonna be string or not. Forward and sum menu position, we have sum menu position over forward item, that's not really big problem. Forward direct sum menu close, that is fine. Coming back this one, handle mouse enter. So handle mouse enter actually looks like this. So set forward item, if the sub menu exists then only we are doing it. Interesting. Let me have this. Okay, let's see the result. Only this way, by making the changes, I'll be able to figure out the reason. But yeah, without knowing the root cause, how can I just simply go ahead blindly? What the hell? So what was I doing earlier? This is the root cause. So item dot sub menu. If there is some menu, only then we have to set a new label and forward empty. That is right. And hence it didn't really have any value. So what we had to do, we had to just simply set the label only when that had it, otherwise not. That is it. This is the only thing that's been missing. So the thing is that whenever we move to the another sub menu option, because that doesn't have any label, so there should be previous label. Now if I move go outside the menu itself, sub menu itself, so we are gonna be setting it to null. So whenever we are just simply normally leaving, we are setting it to null, or whenever we are leaving, going out of the sub menu, we are setting it to null. But if we just suddenly enter, so at that time we are gonna make sure that the same sub menu is still there. I was just simply changing the sub menu itself. That is right. So whenever the mouse was entering, so the new sub menu was being set, and that was being undefined. Interesting. Okay then, not really big problem. Now we know the reason. Exactly what was that? Just create a test file as well somewhere quickly. This is the one. Git restore. The test file is actually going to be deleted as well. Git. Alrighty, this is it. Ultimately this is no doubt working state. So just I wanted to know the main reason, exactly what was causing that to happen, and the main reason was this, that whenever you move to another set timeout another option, just make sure that if that doesn't have any sub menu, so don't reset the value, don't set it to null and all. That's the only thing that is being done in here. and overall we've done it around 376 lines of code, all the features and all, whether everything's working fine or not. These things haven't been implemented, but we can definitely duplicate this, and once duplicated we can select both. We can just create a group. So where is the group selection? So hopefully they are grouped up. But I think once I group something, they are not anyway. This yeah, so once they are grouped, they are not still being highlighted. That simply means they are not selected elements anymore. So let me see what we are actually doing whenever we are grouping something. So actions, inside actions we have this group. Inside that we are going ahead like this. So we have this selected set shapes, we are just simply setting them like this. How about the selected shapes that were there already? Interesting. Why are we not getting the right effect? Editor store. Let me get this first one and the second one and group them. Okay, let's just wait for a while. We are gonna have the selected shapes over here. Excuse me, there are two selected shapes right now, and if we just simply group them, selected shapes IDs, they are gone. Why? So we don't have any selected shape. Interesting. So whenever I group, I just simply get the value over here. Even I'm not giving it any type as of right now, but do we have set selected shapes here? We have selected shapes IDs, but we don't really have set selected shapes. So whenever we just simply group them, set selected shape IDs. Not really. So why is the value changing? So if I actually come back to this one, so what do we have here? That is the group related one, right? Actions.group. It just simply invalidates that and it does the job. But why are the selected shapes changing? Then we set the shapes, and after that, after setting the shape, we set the selected shape IDs. Where? Where did we set the selected shape IDs? I'm definitely setting it, but where is this being set? I'm not sure. So when I click on the group, something is definitely getting called. New selected shape. We have quite a lot of them. Not needed. Selection.ts, editor type.ts, use tool actions. Probably I know this. Whenever we click down, at the time it's getting called, right? So whenever we click down, it just simply gets called. So even when I do this and I click, so sort of I'm calling that. Let me see, coming back to this one, let me see if pointer down is actually being called. So pointer down, let's go to the manager, interaction manager. Where is the manager? Interactions, first of all, manager, and over here I have to check if this is actually being called right now, and there's high possibility of it. So what can I do? The better solution can be that first of all, let's see whether it's actually being called or not. So clg pointer down, and again let's just simply reload this, get two shapes here, we'll remove it, just duplicate this one. We are gonna have two of them. We are gonna group the selection, pointer down. That is pointer move, yaar, come on. Now this is fine. Now let's check this thing out. No, pointer down is not getting triggered. Interesting. If the pointer down is not getting triggered, that simply means there are the events of this. What are we doing here? Context menu. Use context menu. So handle close context menu. Close context menu. This one. So why did we add this close context menu? Whenever we are closing the context menu, the shape should still be selected. Come on. Alright, now we should not have that issue. So let's just simply get rid of this, and if I just simply have few images over here, or I can just simply draw any. What the hell? Sorry. Let's go one step back, and let's say hi. That should be enough, and let's just simply create a group. That would be better. So we can definitely create a group first of all. Now it is still selected, and once it is selected, we should be able to just simply change the colors of these and all, and that should be alright. You should have some color as well. Yeah, this looks great. And not only that, we can build like sort of create a frame. So the frame is actually created, and once the frame is created, we can assign it a new name, and we can just simply enter, and the new name is actually assigned over there. You can move it here and there. you can resize the frame, and just after resizing the frame you can further write high, or you can further write by, that's completely your choice.